Tonight on News 5 Live, public officers vote yes to industrial action notice. A traffic sticker scam on La Isla Bonita. And the U.S. Embassy urges parents not to send children alone through the back. These stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Hello? Okay, sure, I'll be there. Hello?
Hi, Mommy. When are you coming home? I really miss you.
Hearing the voice of our loved ones can always lift our spirits and make us feel whole again. With Smart's twice as nice promotion, prepaid customers who make 5 minutes worth of national calls on Sundays can enjoy 50% off. Top double on all national calls for the rest of the day. Call your loved ones and enjoy half off all day long. Smart, bringing people together.
Electricity is an essential part of our daily lives. We use lights and household appliances every day. Therefore, we must ensure our homes are wired properly. At Benny's, we have certified wires with the right gauges and insulation, BEL certified meter sockets, authentic GE and square D panel boxes and breakers which protect the wires inside your home from being overloaded. When wiring your home, avoid imitation brands which can be very dangerous. Give yourself and your family peace of mind using genuine electrical products available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, April 8th. I am Sabrina Daly. The Belize National Teachers Union is responding to government's announcement that it will proceed with a 10% salary reduction, as well as an increment freeze. On Wednesday evening, Prime Minister Briceño, in a televised statement, informed the nation that his administration will move ahead with the wage cut, which will be reflected in Friday's presentation of the 2021 budget. The Public Service Union, which is part of a multilateral negotiating team, included the BNTU and the Association of Public Service Senior Managers, also met on Wednesday in a series of meetings with public officers. During those discussions, the membership of the union voted overwhelmingly for the PSU to proceed with a 21-day notice of industrial action against government. This evening, upon the conclusion of a 2-day national convention, News 5 spoke with BNTU National President, Senator Elena Smith, who said that the teachers' union will also embark upon its own survey to determine its next move.
We have done several surveys already, but having gotten this last letter from the government, with those two options, because it's just 10% or a tiered approach. Those are the options. We now have to have our members now vote on that position once more. We have to also get from them their position as it relates to what kind of actions we will be taking going forward. So for that reason then, the convention, we shared information, we had some discussions with our members, and we explained to them that despite the fact that the government might be saying that, that they're sharing, if you will, compensation, if that's what they want to call it. We don't see it as that. But you are telling us that we are willing to work with the banks, to help our people so that they don't feel the hit as much. They get some kind of reprieve from the banks. But you're not giving me details. You want to tell me that I will offer teachers data packages, but I don't know what that will be and what that will cost. So you're not giving me the details that my people can go there and say, fine, they're asking us for 10%. These are things that they will do. They will give me a package worth this, it will cost me this. The banks, I can go to the banks, is going to be the percentage that the banks will give me on my mortgage. I am able to, whatever other thing that they are offering, I need to know the details of those. So I can't take a decision on something that I don't have the full picture of. And so we cannot expect our members to say, yes, we will give up our 10 because you are going to be giving us A, B, C, when they don't know those details. And had we gotten those details in that letter, we could have presented those things today. So our members would then be now taking a position based on two things: a 10% across the board or a tiered approach, which should amount to the 60 million and the 20 million.
According to Senator Smith, notwithstanding the fact that the PSU is taking the lead on serving government notice, their collaboration with other labor organizations will present a unified position.
If the PSU takes the lead in serving government with a 21-day notice, where would the BNTU fall in that timeline? in terms of trying to harmonize efforts?
Well, I think we have to understand that when we get to the point of industrial action, that industrial action comes in different phases, different levels. And so while we may not be doing the same thing at the same time, or while we may not be able to do certain things that the PSU can do, for example, while certain actions might be easier for them to do than for us as teachers to do, at some point we will be united. And so we have to ensure that when our members give us those positions, we have to have a meeting as joint unions to look at what those are and to see how we plan going forward. It's for the government to now get out there in the media and say to our people that we were nice to the unions and you know what, the leaders accepted what the members don't want to accept, and we are being fair in these discussions. You are not being fair. It can't be fair when you come to us with a position when we are hearing from those involved that, listen, the budget is already prepared and the 10% is included. How fair can that be? What kind of chance are you giving us to say, let us truly sit down and discuss and negotiate this matter to come to a mutual agreement? If you are not willing to move your goalpost from where you are, and it has to be 60 or nothing, that's not how we negotiate. That's not how we consult. You don't consult by coming to tell me, I will do this, and it matters that what you say, I will still do this.
At a U.S. Embassy event this afternoon, Minister Musa was asked about the government's decision to forge ahead with the public service pay cut. Minister Musa says that the decision was a tough one, and it pains him to tell his employees, like police officers, that they must do this. He says that it is a fair decision taken in light of the other options that were tossed around. Here's how he explains it.
It's certainly not the kind of news that anybody wants to deliver in government, not myself as a Minister of Home Affairs. I'm certain it is not an easy decision for the Prime Minister to make, but the truth of the matter is we have been forewarned about this economic crisis that we are in from the last Prime Minister, and even the leader of the opposition intimated to the fact prior to the election that retrenchment, not salary cut, was a huge possibility, and that they would have to somehow merge those in the public sector into private sector work. I don't know how he planned to do that magically, because that doesn't happen overnight. And so there has always been this talk of whether retrenchment or salary cut or any other type of mechanism to prove that we are making inroads when it comes to our very huge wage bill. I think it's universally accepted, Charisse, whether you're UDP or PUP, I think everybody can accept that our wage bill is extremely excessive. It's a difficult decision, one that no government would want to have to make, but in all the circumstances, we're not talking retrenchment, we're talking a salary cut. And so I think in all the circumstances, it is as fair as possible as we can get at this time.
And Musa says while the decision to cut salaries was a tough one to make, it was fully supported by the cabinet. Musa also told reporters today that this is not the only measure being taken.
Full support of the cabinet, of course. The decision was made. We have been looking at these numbers since November 12th. We've been crunching the numbers and looking at all the possibilities. And we're still, let us be quite real and frank about this. We're nowhere close to the $500 million shortfall that we're looking at. And so this is just one step. Obviously, there has to be more curtailing, which is why the government has in good faith engaged the unions to see where it is that we as a government can make our cuts, and we will make those cuts, and we will put in place good governance measures as they are requesting. And so overall, when you look at the consultation between the government and the unions, we have been very above board, and we have been agreeing to most, if not all, of their requests. And so at the end of the day, when you look at the unions themselves and their leadership, they have an upcoming election as well. And so for them, I empathize with union leaders, because how do you go back to your members and deliver the news that you'll have to take a 10% cut? Nobody wants to do that.
We also asked Musa if there will be additional police boots on the ground for Friday's reading of the budget, in light of the fact that the PSU is against the proposed cut.
Officers are always at the National Assembly, especially for the House meeting. At this time, I don't know whether there will be industrial action. If there is, obviously there may be need for a greater police presence. But at this time, it's a standard set of officers that will be out there tomorrow.
Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa has weighed in on the impasse between government and the unions. That stalemate, however, did not occur overnight. In fact, it was several weeks in the making, beginning with PM Briceño refuting the idea that budget consultations held with the unions back in February were not discussions to introduce a salary cut. In contextualizing what has brought the negotiations to a halt, News 5's Isani Caetano looks back at what has transpired since February 8th.
The Briceño administration will present its draft 2021 financial plan in the House of Representatives on Friday, despite staunch opposition from the joint unions to an imminent 10% wage cut. The Prime Minister says the reduction in salary has become necessary due to the dismal state of the country's economy. It is a crisis situation that has been brought about by excess borrowing under the previous administration. Consultations between government and the joint unions began back in February. At the time, Prime Minister John Briceño, while campaigning ahead of the municipal elections, rejected the notion of a salary cut.
That is not a proposal from the government. What we have been doing, we've said that we're going to have consultations, and we're doing consultations. And consultations means that you present the facts. These are the facts, this is in front of us now. You tell us, what are your ideas as to how we could close this gap? Fact, the UDP left us with a deficit of $500 million. It took previous governments from 1981 to 2008 for us to borrow more than $500 million. The UDP government has left us in a hole of $500 million in 1 year. We are short of over $300 million.
That gaping hole, in spite of the Prime Minister's initial position that his administration was only consulting with the unions, would eventually become a burden to be shouldered by teachers and public officers. Perhaps it was the looming March 3rd elections that prompted the PM to tone down government's stance on the salary cut discussion. 2 days after a resounding victory at the polls, however, came the announcement that government did intend to reduce the wage bill at unions' expense.
We're already engaged in an increment freeze, and so in essence, proposal number 2 would effectively be putting us in 4 increment freezes. That would yield $20 million. And also, I must make mention that the government's targeted number, where the deficit is concerned, where public officers or the wage bill is concerned, the targeted number is $80 million. And so from an increment standpoint, they're projecting a savings of around 20 million. So the proposal where salaries are concerned, of course, would tied to the remaining $60 million. But like I said, we have to carefully look at whether or not that $60 million can and should only come from wages, or if it can come from another source, whether it be some other cuts in other areas, or, as I have been saying repeatedly, perhaps an increase or identifying a possible increase in revenues where there is leakages, because at this point in time, of course, it will make absolutely no sense for us to have a discussion surrounding any new taxes as a result of the current pandemic that we're in.
When asked about the proposed salary cut, Senator Elena Smith, president of the Belize National Teachers Union, maintained that sacrifices are already being made by teachers who have to foot the bill for classroom expenses.
as teachers, we fall under a different way of working because compared to the public officers, the regular public officers. And so you would know that teachers have to provide almost everything for the classroom out of pockets. And so that is a huge concern, because if my salary is being cut by whatever percent that is, 8, 5, 7, 10, whatever it is, it would mean that as a teacher I would have less to put into my classroom to be able to teach my students. And so we have to look at all of those things. Recall that the persons paid by government does not only include teachers and public officers. We have other groups, BDF, police, all of those who are also paid by government, and those persons would be affected.
The round of negotiations would continue for several weeks and into the Easter weekend. On Tuesday, PSU President Gerald Henry responded to the question of the unions being pressured to meet government's timeline.
I wouldn't say that there is not pressure, no, considering the fact that, like you said, there is a timeline and what can happen if it is that we don't try to right the ship for ourselves. But again, we have to make sure that membership drives this decision, and so whatever it takes, how many times we have to go back to our membership to get a mandate, we have to do that. Right? We cannot make the decisions on our own simply because we are considered the leaders of our various unions.
On Wednesday evening, Prime Minister Briceño, in a recorded statement, announced that government will proceed with a 10% salary cut, which will be presented in the 2021 budget on Friday. The unions are now left to respond as a collective on the way forward regarding the logjam. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Coming up, it made headlines when a little Belizean girl walked to the U.S.-Mexican border. Now, the U.S. Embassy has a caution for parents. The message from the Chargé d'Affaires when we return.
We have a new name, but rest assured it's business as usual.
What about my checking accounts?
No change.
What about my savings accounts?
No change.
And my loan accounts?
No change.
What about branch locations?
Still the same.
And my American Airlines reward program?
Still there.
What about online banking?
New website, BelizeBankCorp.com, but same username and password.
And the mobile banking app?
New app, but same credentials.
What about that friendly smile?
It's still there. Belize Bank Corporation Limited. For more information, please visit BelizeBankCorp.com or call 227-2200.
Pelican, the beer of Belize.
We approach the fight against COVID-19 in the way we approach many other challenges, by looking for ways to achieve joint solutions and staying resolved to help our people. I know how anxious we are to see life returning to some normalcy. The COVID-19 vaccine offers our country a reason to hope. We are in this together. I will be safe when we are all safe. I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine. I have taken the COVID-19 vaccine and I urge you to take it too. #GetVaccinated_Belize.
It is my time
to protect your life.
Don't wait to vaccinate.
I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine.
The vaccine is the best way to protect lives.
Don't wait, vaccinate.
Don't hesitate, Belize.
Vaccinate. Be COVID-19 safe. If you care,
love them.
Protect them.
Vaccinate them.
COVID-19 has forever changed our way of living and the way we do business. Now, our main priority is to stay connected with our families, friends, work, school, and business associates. Digi wants to advise all customers that we're resuming the suspension of services for non-payment for the current month's bill starting April 2021. Customers are advised to pay their February 2021 bill to avoid any interruption of services. If you're experiencing difficulties in making payments, we encourage you to visit any of our 13 Digi stores countrywide to make a convenient payment arrangement. Payments can also be made at any Digi agent countrywide or online through Atlantic Bank, Belize Bank, Heritage Bank, or National Bank of Belize. Digi remains committed to working with all our customers to ensure that they continue to enjoy the highest quality communication services by providing convenient payment options for all. Together, we will make it through. Digi, our national telecom, here for you.
The unions, led by the PSU and APSSM, have rejected government's proposals to fix the economy. After 13 years of silence under the UDP, silence through years of UDP mismanagement, silence through years of UDP corruption, silence when the UDP bullied the teachers, silence when the UDP spent hundreds of millions without authority, and silence while the economy crashed around us. The PSU and APSSM leaders are now talking very loud. Their agenda is clearly political. They want the PUP to fix 13 years of unchecked waste and corruption and neglect and mismanagement overnight. They don't care about public officers. They don't care about Belize. They have nothing to lose, ask them. They never stood against corruption, but now they refuse to help fix the damage caused by the corruption. Watch them carefully and realize what they stand for. Together, we will find a way forward. This is not the time for political agendas or showboating. This is not the time for protests. It is a time for real progress. Your PUP government is serious about nation building. The work continues.
It is not known if Tuesday night's shooting of Nelson Nunes Jr. led to an early morning raid this morning in Roaring Creek Village. But tonight, a family is claiming police brutality on a 14-year-old minor from the village. What led to the minor being hit in the face is not known at this time. But reports are that police went searching for guns and ammunition, as well as for alleged gang members. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Around 5:30 this morning, a group of officers raided the property of Mama Chen, a well-known resident of Roaring Creek Village. The family says that when the officers came knocking, claiming that they were searching for guns and ammunition, they voluntarily opened their doors to them.
Nothing wrong with that. They have to do their job. We understand, yes, they have to do their job. And I know they said that all the police, they may go on one way, because one woman there with the crowd, he tell them relax, he tell them behave, and I proud of him. I proud of him because he know. And when my man tell him about, you know want any chance a grand picnic, he say, Miss, we not going for that, but that the next set we're gone over my sister's house.
But what happens next was unthinkable. A 14-year-old minor is allegedly struck by one of the officers, causing the family to react. Siobhan Nunes captures in a live video this morning how officers handcuffed her 14-year-old nephew along with two others and put him in the pan of a pickup truck.
Watch how the libby go on, watch how the libby go on. Who want to knock them for nothing? You know you innocent and they beat you on top? That past fool hurt me so bad. But then come and want to try beat up people. You know, can't carry them for an investigation, whole life in 48, nothing wrong. And nobody, I don't remember if I said this already, but nobody never resist arrest. Nobody. No, nobody. Nobody. The one where I punched my nephew in his nose, he done the put his foot in my nephew's chest and my sister can't stop her. None of that. None of that. He still end up punching her.
The incident has left the family traumatized because aside from the minor that was taken into custody, there were several younger children inside the house.
You know, hear how I sound? Can't feel me inside the tremble. We not used to their thing. We not used to their thing. My family not into their thing. I got 2 nephews, and if my nephew they in a wrong or whatever, we don't want condone that. We don't want condone it. Who I know for we family know, we not into the stupidness and we not tolerate stupidness. We are nothing but love. And the way how they come to my family and beat up my nephew, and I don't think nobody in their right mind will stay there and watch them do that.
Nunes says that the family intends to make a report with the Professional Standards Branch of the Belize Police Department.
Right now, my sister is dealing with it because of she's son in our minor. They put their hands on her. So right now, my sister is dealing with it right at this, as we speak right now.
So you guys are making a report to the police. Are they still in detention?
Yeah. Right now they investigate. They said they investigate also. They tell she if wait when it's done, but so they when it's done, the social worker also they're out for that.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Roaring Creek Chairman Jervis Banner says he's concerned about the recent spike in shootings in his village, so he called on the Commissioner of Police to visit the village. On Wednesday, Paul Williams did a walkthrough of the hot spots and implemented a number of measures to curb the crime. Chairman Banner spoke with News 5.
Yesterday, I was the one who reached out to the commissioner. I went over to his office and I sat down with him and I let the commissioner know that I was very concerned with the recent the surge in crime in the area, and from there the commissioner told me that he was already looking into the situation and he was going to have a meeting with his with the officers in the area, and he invited me to the meeting, and from there we went to do the meet and greet with the residents in the community, and I believe that we will see results because the commissioner has promised that we will have increased police patrol in the community, and I've noticed since I've woke up this morning, I have been seeing the increased police presence in the community, and they've been doing raids and going to the known hotspots and making sure that everything is in order. And the commissioner went to visit some of the hotspots in the area, and he was letting the residents know that we don't want any retaliations. If you want to do something, do it the right way, contact the police, and we are here to help. What I was told by the police, I was briefed that it was an internal family gang issue. I'm not sure if it is over control or what or anything, but I was told that it was an internal issue that is causing the recent shooting in the community.
What were residents saying to you when you guys went around and visit them? How did they feel about the commissioner coming? How do they feel about having extra police in around the village?
To be honest, they received us very well. People, they are happy to see the commissioner of police out here, and it gives them that sense of security, and it can assure them that something will happen and we will have more police presence and things could go back to as normal as possible, and we could go back to having peace in our community.
News 5 has confirmed that a police investigation is currently underway at the traffic department in the island town of San Pedro. This follows report that a number of residents were conned in a well-put-together scam carried out by former and current members of the public department. It involves traffic stickers, which were paid for and received, but are reportedly fake. News 5 has been reliably informed that a raid of several residences on the island yielded evidence to suggest that the scam was ongoing for some time, and that former traffic wardens and a technician with the department were involved. Today, a public notice was issued by the town council stating that the traffic department office on the island was closed for the day and will reopen on Friday. News 5 attempted to get a comment from Mayor Wally Nunes today, but we were told that he was in a meeting with the Coastal Executive Officer, Superintendent Chris Noble. The standard 4 Belizean student who was included in a Breitbart News bilingual interview with several other young people making the trek to the U.S.-Mexico border is reportedly safe in the United States. While that may be the case for this one particular child, her journey to the U.S., unaccompanied by an adult, came with great risks. Today, Chargé d'Affaires at the U.S. Embassy, Kilth Gilges, advised parents not to take such chances.
At this point, no, that wouldn't be the embassy's affair because now it's up in the United States. I can only hope she's safe. I read the same media accounts that other people did that said that she was with her father. Is again that a lucky outcome? Yeah, if you're a parent, please don't roll those dice.
After the break, Easter break saw big crowds in certain destinations. But did anyone get arrested? Find out more when we return. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
The contamination of water we all depend on is a very urgent issue. As Belize's popularity and industries grow, challenges increase. In this episode, we will examine the issue of water pollution in Belize. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies, usually because of human activities. Water bodies include lagoons, rivers, aquifers, and oceans. On the marine side, the discharge of sewage and bilge water from cruise ships and other live-aboard vessels, in combination with unregulated development of coastal areas, has led to the degradation of marine ecosystems such as mangroves and coral reefs. Our inland waters are facing their own challenges. As agricultural development increases, pesticides, fertilizers, and waste products are running off into rivers. Increased river traffic from boat tours and sugar barges adds to the already stressful conditions of the freshwater ecosystems. In addition, companies that collect sewage sometimes dump the waste right into the waterways. Additionally, in densely populated areas like Belize City and Orange Walk, poor sewage designs result in the contamination of groundwater and of water bodies by both sewage and wash water. In many cases, homes and businesses dump their wastewater directly into drains, which leads to rivers and the sea. Wastewater, detergents, and petroleum collect in drains that empty into waterways, such as the New River and the Belize River. This, along with the runoff and discharges from the agricultural and industrial businesses, have been inadequately monitored and enforced. The answers to overcoming water pollution issues are fourfold: improved infrastructure, adequate treatment, increased legislation and monitoring, and of course, changing our habits for the better. While it is urgent that better management on a policy level is needed, there are a few things we can do at home to help. Ensure proper treatment systems are installed for all wastewater at your home and business. Don't dispose of oil from your automobiles or cooking and household detergents down the drain. And lastly, minimize the usage of chemicals and fertilizers and report any dumping into waterways to the Department of the Environment. The government has recognized the threat of inadequate liquid waste management and is working toward goals of reducing and reversing its effects. For more information on what's being done about water pollution and ways you can help, visit our website at doe.gov.bz. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite VoIP calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment are new, PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBS. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. Put that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
Tomorrow on Open Your Eyes, joint unions discuss the way forward for public officers in light of a salary cut. Bracketown Jenny gives tips on how to get kids mentally prepared to head back into the classrooms. And fine dining delivered, a small business created by a husband and wife duo due to the pandemic. Open Your Eyes, weekdays at 6:30 a.m., live on Channel 5 and Facebook.
The Belize National Teachers Union has a new executive led by returning President Senator Elena Smith. The committee was elected during a two-day virtual convention held by the BNTU, despite the president's seat going unchallenged. According to Smith, the executive will serve for a period of 2 years.
Our highlight of the convention was election of officers, of course. And the second matter was a discussion on the proposals from the government based on the meeting that we had on Easter Monday. So those were two of the main issues that we discussed. The election of officers saw myself, I'm returning, I wasn't challenged, and so I was endorsed as president for one more term. Our National Secretary, Sister Ruth Schumann, was unchallenged as well, so she was endorsed as the National Secretary. And then we had two persons running for the post of first vice president, Brother Jorge Mejia from San Ignacio branch and Brother Stephen Shaw from Toledo Rural branch. Brother Mejia won that, so he's now the new first vice president. And then for the treasurer, national treasurer, we had Sister Shahira Lara from Orange Walk, Sister Denise Flores Henry from Stan Creek, and then Sister Keisha Williams from Belize branch. And Sister Keisha Williams was the person elected to serve as the national treasurer. So that's our new team, national officers for the next 2 years. And the remaining executive officers will be elected at our first Council of Management meeting after all of our branches have their meeting in September, October.
This afternoon, Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa was asked about policing the Easter weekend. While some of the popular tourist destinations like Hopkins, Placencia, and San Pedro recorded high numbers of visitors, Musa says that he didn't receive any reports about arrests. According to the minister, cops were very lenient with locals, and policing the weekend was a success.
To my knowledge, and as to what I have been informed by the Commissioner of Police, as well as the different officers in charge in the respective jurisdictions, is that it was properly contained. I have not heard about people being arrested, and normally I am the first one that gets those calls, and so I would be very surprised to learn that in fact a lot of people were arrested above normal. What I can tell you is that the police officers in San Pedro and Kikaka and Placencia were instructed to utilize a lot of discretion and to give individuals and members of the public an opportunity to rectify if it is that they were borderline breaching any of the protocols. So if, for instance, they had off their mask because they're eating, they were issued a warning as opposed to a direct ticket. And so a lot of the crowd controls were properly managed because, like I said, I did not get a lot of these reports. And when there was a possible overcrowding about to take place, police officers took action and basically separated the crowds and advised them of what they can and cannot do. And again, these are in all the hot spots. So, like I said, I do not have any complaints coming from members of the public, and I think this weekend was very successful in terms of our management of the regulations, management of the overcrowding, and certainly it was a boost for our economy to actually have local tourism taking place at all these beautiful destinations.
A fatal traffic accident on Wednesday afternoon on the Philip Golson Highway claimed the life of 39-year-old Candice Martinez. Martinez was behind the steering wheel of an SUV near San Joaquin Village when she reportedly crashed into a trailer traveling in the same direction. Images from the scene of the accident show police presence and how the impact sent the SUV off the road and into the bushes. The extensively damaged vehicle had its windshield shattered and the dashboard broken in several places, while the rear tire of the trailer was visibly destroyed. Martinez, a resident of San Joaquin Village, succumbed at the scene of the accident. When we return, the Statistical Institute has the data. Find out more about a report on the state of Belizean businesses during COVID-19 after the break.
What does live and let live mean to you?
Live and let live means everyone having the freedom to be themselves.
Live and let live means that I can be a mother and have a career.
It means treating people the way you would want to be treated.
And making sure your business is accessible for all Belizeans.
It means that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
It means to love your children no matter what.
It means to support people who face discrimination.
It means that men and women should be treated equally at work.
It means that everyone is able to contribute to building Belize.
It means saying no to all forms of discrimination.
It means love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Lord, patience with them people out here. I want to talk to the one who sit on the street, they hold their mask, they dangle it from their hand like this, or they put their mask on their chin like that, or put it round their neck like so. Or worse, they one will like they hang it from their neck like that chain. Then when they see the police they come, they hurry put the mask on their face. You don't understand the harm you do to yourself. And not only to you, to other people too. If you want to be infected with the COVID-19 virus, go through. But you have to understand, all are we affected by your fool action. Not just you. People like say they can't take the mask. What do you think better? Deal with the mask fairly well or end up in a hospital? If somebody not live in the same house with you, you have to wear a mask when you're there with them. Even if they're your family or your company, you still need to wear the mask. Everybody you meet could have COVID-19. When you wear the mask the correct way, if you cover your whole nose, your whole mouth, and your chin, that's how we will protect all our way.
A message from the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, the European Union, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
2020 taught us the importance of being connected to the virtual world, and NextGen is here to keep its commitment to you. Even if you're physically apart, NextGen keeps you digitally connected.
Okay everyone, thank you for following me today.
NextGen provides more than just an internet plan. They provide service plans that support all your online needs. Sign up today and get your NextGen's ultra high-speed internet service. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Why, Tony?
Boy, kid, what you going on, man?
I'm actually going to see we can need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups for my grocery shop because I run low.
Boy, I stopped importing that thing since April 15th, you know. And I just ran out to the last batch, must have been like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have anything? What are you going?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture there. April 15, 2021, you can't sell there. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
The COVID-19 pandemic has left many Belizean businesses in limbo, and a recent survey by the Statistical Institute of Belize shows just how significant the impact is across the country. A business establishment survey was carried out by the SIB in November of 2020. 2,500 local businesses were in the sample group, which were registered either with the Social Security Board or the Belize Tax Department. The survey reported an average 35.8% decrease in employment between March and November 2020. The steepest decline was seen in Orange Walk District, where business reported a 66.5% loss of staff. This was followed by the Cayo District, where employment among those businesses fell by 48.4%. Statistician Hefte Ochayeta shares further details.
Due to the pandemic, most of the establishments had to do a restructuring of their staff, and the ones that suffered mostly were the part-time workers. Right? Yeah. So that was one of the key findings that we found. Also, something significant was to compare the level of change in the employment level.
Yes.
Right? When we did that analysis and compared what was the employment count reported to us by the establishments between November and March, there was a significant drop, about 35% throughout the country.
Most businesses surveyed reported that they had to implement one or more cost-saving measures to stay afloat. These varied from reducing staff hours all the way to layoffs. Others resorted to cutting salaries and other compensation. Interestingly, 28% of the businesses surveyed reported not having to implement any cost-saving measures at all. But how much of a decrease in revenue did businesses experience due to the COVID-19 pandemic? The SIB survey also sought to determine just that. Now, it is no secret that the accommodation and food services industry suffered a near-lethal blow, as travel came to a near standstill. SIB's data reveals that businesses in that industry reported a 97.6% decline in revenues. The transportation and education sectors also saw significant revenue decreases, totaling 96.6% and 96.4% respectively.
These establishments have been suffering all throughout 2020. So the survey actually gives us the information to understand some of the things that have caused the suffering businesses to experience, and also some of the adaptations that were done by the business establishments to cope with the situation.
Ahead, turning around troubled areas. Meet the people who stand to benefit from an empowerment project. But first, here is the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Office.
I strive to give my child the best nutrition, but I know it's not enough. It's also important to protect him. Clim Growing Up or Clim 1 Plus contains prebiotics, vitamins and minerals that help strengthen their immune system, helping them achieve 100% protection plus nutrition. That's why I give my child Clim 1 Plus. Clim, Your love, their future. Clim 1 Plus is not a breast milk substitute from 1 year on.
Hello, Belize. You may not be aware of the new travel requirements set in place by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Passengers traveling to the U.S. must present a negative COVID test or a documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 to travel to the U.S. In light of this, Maya, in partnership with Caring Hands Clinic, have established testing centers in all their municipal airports. Caring Hands Antigen Test Center is operational in San Pedro, Belize City, Dangriga, Placencia, and Hopkins. These testing facilities are staffed by licensed healthcare professionals, including doctors, registered nurses, and nurse practitioners. Testing is done using Abbott rapid test devices that are FDA approved and made in the USA. The service is safe, fast, affordable, and the close proximity of the centers makes them convenient. Walk-ins are welcomed, but appointments are encouraged. If you would like to make an appointment, please feel free to do so at Make your appointment, get tested, and in 15 minutes, you can get back to your vacation.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
In areas of Southside Belize City, where opportunities are often hard to come by, the U.S. Embassy Belize and 2 local agencies are seeking to make a difference. The beneficiaries of Empowering Communities to Empower Themselves initiative are young men and women who might otherwise be written off by society. But today, the only thing that was written was their names, as they are now described as self-employed and empowered. News 5's reporter Paul Lopez has the story.
And I ask you, O Almighty Father, to guide us, through, and ask you to please uplift for communities and to put in the youth's mind the change, the time.
That is Ras Baba, a member of the George Street community. He is saying a prayer for his community at the Empowering Communities to Empower Themselves initiative culmination ceremony. For Japhet Bennett, a member of the St. Martin's community in Belize City, strenuous circumstances leads to poor life choices.
Well, growing up, St. Martin was a nice era, but during the past years and changes make and people get older, things still escalate, and you live in a life where then when you choose to die in a certain situation, and when things just lead on to the direction we never choose to go.
Matthew Moore, a member of the Yarborough community in Belize City, gave us another example of why living in his community presents its own challenges.
It's rough if you don't have a connection out there, man, because everything that is technology or communication. You know, if you don't got technology or communication right now, you know, they're up in the standard men, and that's all we need. No man is an island, so each one help on that. That's how we live right now. Unity, you know? Yeah, man.
The U.S. Embassy Belize, Love Foundation, and Kobe Foundation have been working closely with residents of these areas, adapting strategies that have worked in other countries.
A lot of what I do is based on best practices from around the world. And this is a best practice from the U.S. under the Office of Juvenile Delinquency Prevention Project. This is a project that is done in the U.S. in various gang communities. What we do is we customize it to fit, we tailor it to fit Belize.
2 resource hubs have been launched. One was established in the Yarborough community in October of 2020, a second in the St. Martin's community. Today, residents of George Street, notoriously known as one of the most dangerous areas in the country, were gifted resources that should lead to employment and food security.
Today, a group of talented young women from George Street are launching their new mobile salon, Sunshine's Beauty and Nail Shop, which you can see right behind me. And they're launching it right here in Old Belize. While this salon will be located here initially as their startup grows and builds its clientele base, it will nonetheless provide much-needed employment opportunities for young women from the George Street area. Meanwhile, we're providing tools and equipment to the male participants from the George Street area to start their own greenhouse business with the catchy title, Go Green, Eat Clean.
Japhet Bennett and Matthew Moore are beneficiaries in their respective communities. They say they are better off.
For St. Martin's, for what we do right now, it's a big project, and for me personally, it give me a big jump, make I think a little smarter and give me more time to learn different things.
Under my program multi-purpose, we do car washing sometimes. If I not there at a compound, I do fishing or mechanical construction. And that's it, right? That's what the livestock and the planting and Mr. Jurgensen encouraged me about.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.